Hi, and welcome to this Bible quiz. The level of this quiz for the average person to enjoy. So there are some easy questions and a few that you might find challenging. So have fun, and here we start with first question. Who were the sons of Adam and Eve, Jacob and Esau, Cain and Abel, or Moses and Aaron? And the answer, Cain and Abel. What was the name of Abraham's wife, Rebecca, Rachel, or Sarah? Answer is Sarah. What miraculous event occurred at the Red Sea, the parting of the waters, turning water into wine, or healing of the blind man? And our famously known answer is the parting of the waters. Who led the Israelites out of Egypt, Moses, Joshua, or Aaron? And our answer is Moses. Which animal was often used for sacrifices in Leviticus, cow, rabbit, or sheep? Answer is sheep. Actually, both sheep and lambs were used for sacrifices in Leviticus, but lambs were particularly emphasized for certain offerings, so it isn't included among the answer options. How many times did the Israelites encamp at different locations during their journey in the wilderness? 12 times, 42 times, or 7 times? Answer is 42 times. The book of Numbers chapter 33 contains a list of the 42 places if you'd like to read it. What does Deuteronomy mean? Second law, Holy Covenant, or Book of Beginnings? Deuteronomy means second law in Greek, but it refers more to a retelling or reminder of God's laws. What city did the Israelites conquer by marching around it and blowing trumpets? Jerusalem, Bethlehem, or Jericho? And the answer is Jericho. Who succeeded Moses as the leader of the Israelites and led them into the promised land? Caleb, Gideon, or Joshua? Correct answer is Joshua. Which judge famously defeated the Philistines with the jawbone of a donkey? Samson, Deborah, or Gideon? And the answer is our flawed hero Samson. How many judges are mentioned in the book of Judges? 7, 12, or 15? Answer is 12. You can pause the video and check the names. Who was Ruth's mother-in-law? Sarah, Naomi, or Rachel? And the answer is Naomi. In which town did Ruth meet Boaz? Jericho, Nazareth, or Bethlehem? Answer is Bethlehem. Who was the first king of Israel? Saul, David, or Solomon? Answer is Saul. He was chosen by the prophet Samuel to unite the Israelite tribes and lead them in battle. Who killed Goliath? Saul, Jonathan, or David? Answer is one of my favorite figures in the Bible, David. Who succeeded Saul as the king of Israel? Solomon, David, or Samuel? Answer is David again. What was David's capital city? Bethlehem, Hebron, or Jerusalem? Answer is Jerusalem. Initially, he ruled from Hebron, but later conquered Jerusalem and established it as the United Kingdom's capital. Okay, last David-related question. Who succeeded King David as the ruler of Israel? Solomon, Rehoboam, or Jeroboam? And the answer is Solomon. Who was the prophet who performed many miracles during the time of the kings of Israel and Judah? Jeremiah, Elisha, or Isaiah? Answer is Elisha. Jeremiah was a prominent prophet known for his pronouncements of judgment, not miracles. Isaiah was another influential prophet, but his ministry focused more on pronouncements and writings. Which king of Judah instituted religious reforms to eliminate idol worship? Hezekiah, Josiah, or Ahaz? And the answer is Josiah. Who was the king of Judah who was taken into captivity by the Babylonians? Jehoiachin, Hezekiah, or Jehoshaphat? Answer is Jehoiachin. Babylonians captured Jerusalem during his rule. Who was the Persian king who allowed the Jews to return to Jerusalem from exile? Cyrus, Darius, or Xerxes? Answer is Cyrus. What was the main task of Ezra when he returned to Jerusalem? Rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, rebuilding the temple, or restoring the religious practices of the people? Ezra's focus was on re-establishing the law and proper religious practices among the Israelites who had returned from exile. Who was Nehemiah's main adversary in the rebuilding of Jerusalem's walls? Sanballat, Tobiah, or Geshem? Nehemiah's main adversary in the rebuilding of Jerusalem's walls was Sanballat. What was Nehemiah's position in the Persian court? Cupbearer to the king, chief baker, or royal scribe? It was cupbearer to the king. This was a position of high trust and honor, allowing him regular access to the king and influencing his decisions. Who was the king of Persia in the book of Esther? Cyrus, Darius, or Xerxes? The king was Xerxes in the book of Esther. Who was Esther's cousin who raised her and advised her in the palace? Haman, Mordecai, or Vashti? Esther's cousin who raised her and advised her in the palace was Mordecai. What was Isaiah's occupation before he became a prophet? Fisherman, shepherd, or courtier? The Bible doesn't explicitly state Isaiah's occupation before becoming a prophet, but theories focus on priest and courtier. For this question, we are proceeding with courtier answer. What vision did Isaiah see in the year that King Uzziah died? The seraphim in the temple, the valley of dry bones, or the wheel within a wheel? Answer is the seraphim in the temple. You can check the details in the book of Isaiah, chapter 6. What was Jeremiah's response when God called him to be a prophet? He accepted eagerly. He made excuses due to his young age, or he ran away to another country. Answer is, he made excuses due to his young age. What is the famous term used in Jeremiah to describe God's relationship with Israel? Broken promise, divine contract, covenant. While the concept of a broken covenant is a significant theme in Jeremiah's prophecies, covenant itself is the most foundational term used to describe the bond between God and Israel. What unusual command did God give Hosea regarding his wife? Divorce her, marry her, or ignore her? God instructed Hosea to marry a woman named Gomer, who would be unfaithful to him. This act served as a symbolic representation of Israel's infidelity towards God. What symbolic names did Hosea give to his children? Faithful and unfaithful, mercy and grace, or not pitied and not my people? Lo Ruhama means not pitied. It symbolizes God's withdrawal of his usual mercy from Israel due to their disobedience. Lo Ami means not my people. It represents the most severe consequence of Israel's actions. What natural disaster does Joel use as a metaphor for God's judgment? Earthquake, locust invasion, or flood? Answer is locust invasion. What does Joel prophesy would be poured out upon all flesh in the last days? Spirit of wisdom and understanding, spirit of judgment and fiery indignation, or spirit of prophecy and miracles? And the answer is spirit of prophecy and miracles. What profession did Matthew have before becoming a disciple of Jesus? Tax collector, fisherman, or carpenter? Before becoming a disciple of Jesus, Matthew was a tax collector. Which Old Testament prophecy does Matthew quote to show Jesus as the fulfillment of the promised Messiah? Isaiah's prophecy of the virgin birth, Micah's prophecy of Bethlehem, or Jeremiah's prophecy of the new covenant? Matthew quotes Micah's prophecy of Bethlehem to show Jesus as the fulfillment of the promised Messiah. According to tradition, with which apostle did Mark travel and minister? Thomas, Peter, or John? According to tradition, Mark traveled and ministered with both apostles Peter and Paul at different points in his life. So for this question, answer is Peter. How many disciples did Jesus originally call to follow him? 10, 12, or 15? Famously known as is 12. Who among Jesus' disciples famously denied knowing him 3 times before the rooster crowed? Peter, Andrew, or James? Among Jesus' disciples, it was Peter who denied knowing him 3 times before the rooster crowed. In which garden did Jesus pray before his arrest, leading to his crucifixion? Gethsemane, Eden, or Bethany? The garden where Jesus prayed before his arrest is Gethsemane. How many times did Jesus predict his own death and resurrection to his disciples? Once, twice, or 3 times? Jesus predicted his death and resurrection to his disciples on 3 separate occasions throughout the Gospels. Which disciple doubted Jesus' resurrection until he saw him with his own eyes? Peter, Thomas, or Judas? The disciple who doubted Jesus' resurrection until he saw him with his own eyes was Thomas. Who betrayed Jesus to the religious authorities for 30 pieces of silver? Peter, Judas Iscariot, or John? It was Judas Iscariot. Which disciple famously cut off the ear of the high priest's servant during Jesus' arrest? Peter, James, or Simon? The disciple who cut off the ear of the high priest's servant during Jesus' arrest was Peter. What was the name of the disciple who first recognized Jesus after his resurrection while they were fishing? John, James, or Simon? John notices Jesus first and whispers to Peter, "It is the Lord." How many days did Jesus spend in the wilderness, fasting and being tempted by Satan? 20 days, 30 days, or 40 days? It was 40 days. In which river was Jesus baptized? Nile, Tigris, or Jordan? Jesus was baptized in the river Jordan. What was the profession of Jesus before he began his ministry? Carpenter, fisherman, or tax collector? The profession of Jesus before he began his ministry is traditionally believed to have been a carpenter. And we come to the last question. How many loaves of bread and fish did Jesus use to feed the multitude of 5,000? 5 loaves and 2 fish, 7 loaves and 3 fish, or 10 loaves and 5 fish? And our answer is 5 loaves and 2 fish. Okay, this is the end of our video. Don't forget to share your score in the comments down below and subscribe for the more quizzes. Have a nice day.